Concentration, willpower, practice, yes, all those are important. Those are the ingredients. But how much do you want it? Any monk that tells you he's never questioned the path or never thought of leaving is lying to you.
We live our lives like we're going to live forever. But the truth is, we don't live forever.
Need motivation?
Watch a top 10 with Believe Nation.
What's up, Believe Nation? It's Evan. This channel is designed to be a part of your daily success routine and help you believe in your Michael Jordan level talent. So let's get your motivation to a 10 and get you believing in you. Grab a snack and chew on today's lessons from a man who went from graduating with a degree in electrical engineering to leaving it all behind to become a Hindu monk and living in a monastery in Hawaii for 10 years. He's Dandapani, and here's my take on his top 10 rules of success. Okay, let's kick it off with rule number 1. Want it bad enough.
A good friend of mine is an Olympian who won a gold medal in netball, beach volleyball, sorry.
No, beach volleyball.
Beach volleyball. And so I interviewed her in Australia a couple of months ago when we were talking about it, and I said, what drove you to win a gold medal?
Yeah.
She goes, I really, really wanted it. And she looked at me and said, I really wanted it, Dandapani, I really wanted it.
Yeah.
And most people don't want it enough. Alex. You know, and people ask me, you know, it's like, how do you go to a monastery? How do you leave your family behind, your friends, everything, ice cream, chocolate, beer, beach, you know, girls, anything that you can imagine, and go to the monastery for 10 years and no contact.
Yeah.
Because you want it. It just comes down to how much you really want it.
Wow.
Concentration, willpower, practice, yes, all those are important. Those are the ingredients. But how much do you want it? If you really, really want it, you'll make it work. But most people don't want it enough.
Yeah.
My teacher used to say to me all the time, if you want something new, you have to give up something old.
Yeah.
We're sitting on a couch here, and if you want to bring a brand new couch in, you would have to get rid of this couch.
Yeah, you can't be like, I put it on top of this couch.
Exactly, it doesn't work. And sacrifice is such a big thing. You have to give up your old ways, your different parts of your life in order to gain something new. But you have to want it. You really, really have to want it. Most people don't want it enough.
Yeah.
That's why they go from one self-help book to another self-help book to another self-help book, and they say, well, you know, I'm picking the best parts out of here and there. And it's like a buffet, you know, you go around and you just pick what you want and you never commit to anything. Find one thing, commit to it, and be an expert at it.
Rule number 2, have clear goals.
Any monk that tells you he's never questioned the path or never thought of leaving is lying to you.
Right.
Even though I wanted to be a monk since I was 4, I thought many times of leaving and not wanting to do it. But you just stick to it because that's what you love. I'm sure when you're running the race, there's points where you go like...
I want to quit every race I do.
Right?
Yeah.
It's crazy,
race.
isn't it? Yeah.
Every workout, everything. I get it.
Yeah. So it's the same way as well. The thought comes up and you just go like, but this is you, right? Your racing is you. Being monk is me.
There's little crickets that get in your head. And those crickets are telling you, right?
Yeah.
You're on the wrong path. And you've got to get rid of them.
Yeah, and I think it's just being crystal clear of what you want in life right from the start.
Yeah.
And then just having that willpower and the perseverance to follow it through and be unwavering in that.
In your commitment and your true north and
Yeah.
where you want to go, what you
And
want your legacy to be.
Yeah, I think most people get swayed just because they don't really know what they want in life. And if you ask most people what they want in life, they say, I want to be happy, and happiness is not a goal.
Right.
Happiness
It's a result.
Yeah, it's a byproduct of something, right? If I eat ice cream or drink beer, I might feel happy, but it's not a goal to be pursued. And I think that's why people get off the path so often, is because they don't know where they're going.
Rule number 3, uplift others.
How do you keep your spirits or your faith up when life gets you down and your goals seem far away? This is a very challenging thing, B-Dog. Quite often when we're feeling down, it's not so easy to uplift ourselves. And sometimes we can kind of get stuck in that funky area of the mind and just wallow in that sorrow, so to speak. And one of the things that my guru used to recommend to me, and just even in general, anybody that asked him to help them get out of a place of funkiness or feeling down, is to uplift somebody else. So what he would say is, you would uplift yourself by uplifting someone else. And that was kind of the essence of the message. You uplift yourself by uplifting somebody else. Find a friend, uplift them. You can uplift them by doing something nice for them, something that you know they need help with or they need in their life, but they may not have asked you. But you know, by you offering your help and just doing it for them will make a big difference in their life. Reach out and do that for them. And as you provide them with the selfless service and act of love, you uplift their spirits, and as you uplift their spirits, you uplift you. So this is something that works really, really well, something that I've done myself and continue to do whenever I'm feeling a little down or in a funky place. I'll do that. I'll find somebody that I can uplift, and then by just uplifting them, I find myself being uplifted as well.
Rule number 4, control your awareness.
I think understanding the mind is one of the most important things anybody could do. I always tell people it's the one thing that we don't have a manual for. Everything else in life, we get a manual, right?
Yeah.
Your clothing has manual, there's a tag in the back that tells you how to wash it.
Yeah.
Food, blenders come with manuals, cameras, but the mind doesn't. And from a monk experiential learning, the simplest way to understand the mind is to understand the difference between awareness and the mind. So imagine your mind as a map with different areas. There's some areas of your mind that's angry, happy, sad, jealousy, art, science, food, sex, sports. And awareness is a glowing ball of light that floats around in your mind. And wherever it goes in your mind, it lights up that area. When it lights up that area, you become conscious of it. So your awareness, this glowing ball of light, is always being pulled from one area of the mind to another by people and things around you. Your Twitter notification goes off, your awareness goes to Twitter area of the mind, and then you see a Facebook notification goes off, awareness goes over there, and then the phone rings, then awareness goes over here. So all day people allow people and things around them to pull their awareness from one thing to another. Once you learn how to control the mind, you're really not controlling the mind, you're controlling awareness and where awareness goes in the mind. Now you can keep awareness on one thing at a time and remain concentrated.
So now how can we get control of that awareness, or how can we practice to get better at controlling our awareness?
The best way to do this is to integrate the practice into your everyday life. So I feel that if you're practicing just, for example, meditation in the morning for 15 minutes or half an hour, is completely useless if the remaining 23 and a half hours of the day you're doing something that's counterproductive.
Yeah.
So I believe the best way to make progress, the most efficient way to make progress, is to actually integrate the practice into everything that you're doing.
Yeah.
So for example, every time you speak with your lovely spouse, give her your undivided attention. So keep your awareness on your spouse. As your awareness drifts away, bring your awareness back to your spouse. It drifts away again, bring it back to your spouse.
Yeah.
So with everything you do, keep your awareness on it. Do one thing at a time. And the more you practice this, the better you get at it.
Rule number 5, surround yourself with success.
You find yourself in New York, the world is ending, financial crisis.
Yep.
And there's probably a lot of Wall Street people at that moment that need a monk.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Is that your customer base? Like who'd you start sitting with to try to help them?
Mainly entrepreneurs. So I didn't know very much about business, and I wanted to surround myself with financially successful entrepreneurs. So I started using some monk tools to create it in my mind and surround myself with successful entrepreneurs.
And it just happened?
Yeah, you start attracting people. If you start to change the shape of your mind, by using certain techniques, you start attracting like-minded people into your life.
And so the first one comes and the second one comes before you know it, you're the center of an entrepreneurial network.
Two things. One is I wanted to work with that group of people. Second is I wanted to build a business that's successful. And where do I start? I figured I could go to business school, forget that,
right.
or learn from someone who's done it and done it really well. So I chose the second option. And I thought if I surrounded myself with these people, I could just learn from them. I believed in the power of a community.
Rule number 6, get clarity.
No one's died, gone to the other side, taken a selfie, come back, posted it on Instagram and go, look at me, here in heaven, #pearlygates. Right? No, we don't know. We have our beliefs and some of us hold strong to our beliefs, but we really don't know what happens at the point of that, so most of us don't like to think about it. So we live our lives like we're going to live forever. But the truth is, we don't live forever. You've never seen a 500-year-old man or a 1,000-year-old woman who have been evolving on this planet for about 1 million, 2 million years. We all die at some point. When you realize that life is finite, it's not short, and you see these cute little quotes on Instagram saying life is short, be happy. I think that's wrong. Life is not short. Life is actually very, very long. But it's definitely finite. There's a definitive end to it for sure. When you realize that life is finite, you become clear of all of a sudden who and what's important in your life.
Rule number 7, push hard to get things done.
A lot of times people think when life is balanced, it's a straight life. I think life is a sine wave.
Yeah.
You know, and sometimes you have to push really hard, especially if you're an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
You know, there's a certain time in your business where you're really pushing hard to get something done.
Yeah.
And the last 3 months has been like that for me. I'm trying to change my business model a little bit and get a lot of things done. So I've been really pushing and things have been quite out of balance. But if you always know what your core purpose in life is, then you know where to come back to. And you can push for 1, 2, 3 months and then come back to your purpose.
Rule number 8, be focused.
My goal was to have my own business, to be an entrepreneur and make my own money. And
had you been thinking about it while you were in the monastery for all those years?
The last, well, not all those years. The last couple of years, deciding whether I wanted to leave was probably I wouldn't say probably, was the hardest decision I've ever made in my life, was to leave the monastery.
Yeah.
So the next question would be, what would I do?
You could have ran a web business from the monastery.
Could have. We had the largest website in the state of Hawaii.
Really?
Yeah, monks programmed in HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and we were trained how to edit movies in Final Cut Pro, design in InDesign, Photoshop. We knew it inside out.
Wow.
Yeah, I learned coding in the monastery.
Oh, that's awesome. I didn't know. I literally thought you were preparing for meditation 23 hours a day. I didn't know you were doing anything.
But we took those concentration skills into everything that we did. So when we were programming, we focused on programming. You know, when we were building a building, or we were pouring cement on the sidewalk, or sweeping something, or cooking, we focused. Right. So in everything that we did throughout the day, we practiced all the tools that we learned. So that when we sat to meditate, we'd been practicing for 23 hours.
All day.
Rule number 9, walk away from energy vampires.
I have several people in my life, friends and relatives, who I want to support, but after I spend time with them, I feel drained. Sometimes I avoid them, but then I feel guilty and can only avoid them for so long. Can you explain why I feel this way and what advice you have for me? Thank you for your question, Erica, and I think this is something that a lot of people face and are not sure how to approach. Basically, I mean, the way to look at it is that we only have so much energy each day. When we go to sleep, we wake up in the morning, we have, for example, this much energy, and throughout the day we use that energy, we give that energy to people and things around us, and by the end of the day, that energy gets less and less and less, and then till the end of the day where there's almost nothing left, and you feel tired and you go to sleep again. So one of the things you have to understand is that some people fill you with energy and some people drain you of energy. And the people that drain you of energy, I like to call them energy vampires. And there are a lot of them, and sometimes these people are colleagues, they're friends, they're relatives, even close family members. One of the important things to do is really identify if someone is a temporary energy vampire or are they inherently an energy vampire. So what I mean by that is, someone is temporarily an energy vampire, I mean that they're going through a difficult time in their life, somebody in their family has died, or they're going through a divorce, or some big challenging experience, and for a few months or maybe a couple of years, they're energetically draining, but it's okay. You know, you love them, they're your friend, they're a family member, you want to support them, and you can put up with that for a little time in your life. But if someone is inherently an energy vampire, you know, they've always been their whole life, every time you meet with them, you encounter them, you feel completely drained, then it's really important to take note of that. That's a personality trait that's not going to change anytime soon unless they're actively working on it. And most energy vampires don't really want to work on themselves. It's their nature. So one of the things to do here at this point is to identify these people. And one of the ways to identify these people is that when you spend time with someone, and as soon as you have a conversation with them or after spending time with them, when you walk away, as soon as you turn around and walk away, ask yourself, do you feel uplifted or do you feel drained? And that's immediately you'll know. As soon as you turn around and walk away, you feel uplifted, you'll go like, wow, that was such a great conversation. I got so much out of it. I feel so inspired. You know then that person uplifted you. But if you walk away and you feel completely drained and you go, oh my God, that was so exhausting, then chances are that person is an energy vampire. And especially if you meet that person 15, 20 times a year, and just say you met the person 20 times a year, and out of that 20 times a year, 19 of those were extremely exhausting conversations, then you can quite very well qualify. You can easily qualify that that person is an energy vampire, and you want to avoid them. You don't really want people in your life. The way to look at it is that if you're working so hard on yourself to improve yourself to be a better person, then why allow someone else to come and drain you away? It's, for example, an entrepreneur who built his business from nothing would never allow somebody to come in and destroy his business, right? You just wouldn't do that. So the same way you've worked so hard to uplift yourself and be a better human being, why would you allow somebody to come and drain you?
And rule number 10, the last one before a very special bonus clip, is meditate.
I believe and I've been trained to have a goal. Every time you sit down to meditate, you should really have a goal. Like, for example, when you get in the car and put on your seatbelt and start the engine to drive somewhere, you have a destination, right? You just don't get in the car and start driving. So the same way, when you sit down to meditate, there should be a destination. There should be something that you're reaching for. What is that goal? What is that purpose? It's totally up to you. It really comes down to what you use meditation for. In the tradition that I come from, that I belong to, meditation is a tool that has many purposes, but the ultimate purpose in our tradition at least is to attain self-realization or enlightenment. Some people just use meditation for relaxation, to release stress, for all kinds of things. So you set your own goal for meditation, but the key point that I'm trying to make here is that every meditation should have a goal and a purpose. Once you've set your goal, the method and practice that you have should be systematic and practical. There should be a clear system on getting from A to B in your meditation. It should never be random. It should never be different every single day. The practice should be the same. Take a very simple, mundane example. So, for example, if you go take a shower, before you take a shower, you take your clothes off, you turn the water on, you make sure it's the right temperature, you jump in the shower, you get wet, you put soap on, you wash the soap off, you wipe yourself dry, and then you put your fresh clothes on. You never mix that order up. You just don't do that. And you do that same order every single day. So the same way with meditation as well. You figure out the goal that you want to get to. You figure out a systematic step and process towards getting there. And you do that every day.
Now I've got a really special bonus Dandapani clip on how to deal with stress that I think you're gonna really enjoy. But before that, it's time for the 3-point landing questions. Time to move from just watching another video to actually taking action in your life or in your business. So answer these 3 questions. Question number 1, what are 3 clear goals that you want to accomplish? Question number 2, what can you do today to uplift somebody? And question number 3, what will you add to your morning routine to surround yourself with success?
When I was growing up, I had met my guru when I was about 21, and I was going to join his monastic order, which was in Hawaii. I was at that time living in Western Australia and studying in university. And I remember in my last year of engineering, I was feeling extremely stressed. I had a thesis which I'd been working on for a year and a half that I needed to complete. In the next month, I had about 7 or 8 examinations that I had to pass in order to graduate as an engineer. I was the president of the youth group of our temple over there, the local temple over there, and we were organizing a lot of different events. And I was also dancing as part of a dance company that I was involved in, and they were also putting up a big show, so we were rehearsing almost every night. And I remember emailing my guru saying, Gurudev, I'm really stressed, I have all these things going on, and I'm stressed. He emailed me back, and I don't remember the exact words that he used, but he emailed me back and said, the reason you're stressed is because you don't keep your awareness on one thing at a time. And I'll be absolutely honest with you, ever since that day I've never felt stressed anymore. And I know it's a very bold proclamation to make, but it's true. Because I clearly understood what he said to me at that point. Whenever I was dancing, I was thinking about my thesis. And when I was working on my thesis, I was thinking about the exams I had to do. When I was working on my exams, when I was studying for my exams, I was thinking about the youth group. And wherever I was thinking about something else. Anxiety comes because we allow awareness to drift away from the present moment and go into the future or into the past, in an uncontrolled way. So the past and the future are not bad things as long as we indulge in them or we enter them with the aim to learn from them. But if we just allow awareness to travel into the past and into the future all the time, it creates anxiety. And we do that because we're afraid. Anxiety comes out of a sense of fear where we allow awareness to go into the future. We create a situation that hasn't happened. We bring it back into the present and start living it as it has already happened. You keep repeating the process over and over and over again. You build anxiety. I'm going to get sick. I'm going to get sick. You think in the future, what if I get sick? Then what happens? Oh my God, I'm going to get sick. And then you bring back the present and you start living that. 5 minutes later, you let your awareness go into the future and you think to yourself, I'm not going to get better, I'm going to get sick. And then you bring awareness back into the present again and you start worrying about it. You keep repeating this process over and over again and you build anxiety. So the way to overcome stress and anxiety is to really control where your awareness goes. Every time your awareness goes into the future or into the past in an uncontrolled way, bring it back to the present again. And just do this exercise. Be mindful of this throughout the entire day. Don't let your awareness go into the past or into the future in an uncontrolled way.
Raise your standard.
Apple at the core, its core value is that we believe that people with passion can change the world for the better.
Not one drop of my self-worth depends on your acceptance of me.
If you want another amazing video highlighting excellence in the Indian community, check it out right there next to me. I think you'll enjoy it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.